Well, look around, because these are the real committed people. Thank you so much for an amazing day. We saved the very best for last, of course. We are so excited to see the next presenters. I'd like to present for you the Design and Innovation Slam. And we're going to get a tasty treat of some small house projects that address real needs in the market, including workforce housing, modular designs, and age-friendly features. We're going to hear from Marty Buckenmeyer at Buckenmeyer Architecture, Todd Ferry at PSU Center for Public Interest Design, Margaret Leite from PSU Center for Public Interest Design, Joe Mansfield from Pacific and West, Lindsay Schack from Schack Architecture, Olivia Snell from Communitecture, and Tuan from Propel Studio Architecture. I want to thank Jill Crott for organizing this session, and without any further ado, I'd like to invite our Design Slam up to the stage. And give them a warm welcome, please.
Okay. And Jill, do you want me to start? Okay, I'm Lindsay Schack of Schack Architecture. I'm going to talk about Victor Cottage Court today in Victor, Idaho. And just to note, Schack Architecture is about a 3-year-old architectural firm. I'm based in Montana. My business partner, Lindsay Love, is in Idaho, and our other partner is in Jackson, Wyoming. And we operate in a scale of mountain town that is dealing a lot with growth and density and housing crisis. So how many of you have heard of Victor, Idaho? A few of you? Victor, Idaho is on the other side of the Tetons from Jackson Hole. Victor, Idaho is in Teton Valley, along with places like Driggs, Idaho. And a client in the Jackson side once referred to Driggs and Victor as where the help lives. And as you can see, it's a pretty great place. It's a desirable place. People choose to live in places like Montana, Idaho, and Wyoming for very specific reasons. We choose to live there for the outdoor lifestyle, for the opportunities to be outdoors, to recreate, to take in nature. And everybody that decides to make a life there typically has these types of activities on their list. So Victor Cottage Court came up as a development opportunity through a client of ours that had an open lot. It was 2 estate lots, and we combined them into one to make this cottage court development. The big keys for this development was shared space. And so as we thought about what is the highest and best use of this property in a community that is struggling with housing, and how can we best create a certain number of units that would be acceptable to the market, provide the amenities that they need, and yet at an affordable price. An affordable house in Victor, Idaho is still in the 300s. This is about as low as we could get these projects, but it was actually turned into somewhat of a boutique project rather than an affordable housing project, because ultimately our clientele that is looking to buy these homes, we don't even like to use the word affordable housing. This is workforce housing. This is where, one of our clients is a chef, a private chef over in Jackson. Another one owns a small business over there. Some people are looking for workforce housing for their staff. When you're competing with multi-million-dollar homes and any available lot being bought up for luxury condo development, it's really hard to find affordable workforce housing for anyone in your community that's not in that tax bracket. So what we decided is that there's a certain amount of amenities that we have, and then there's another amount of amenities that we share. And I was always flummoxed or confused by people that moved to mountain country and then decided to build their own private estate where they never had to interact with anyone else or ever have to go outside. I've even had a client that struggled with finding more size in the lower fitness room for the second treadmill, for the vacation home. In a previous career, before I started Schack Architecture with Lindsay Love, we worked with clients sometimes that had a different mindset when it comes to these sorts of issues than we felt like we had. So when we started to think about what could we do with a cottage court development, who were the types of people that would want to live there, we realized that it's a product that was very attractive to lots of people in the area. So we had a response to solar gain. We shared collectively in the green spaces, the creek area, the trail system. All of those were amenities that will be installed first and up front. They're all equipped with proper solar gain. They're all equipped with permaculture growing spaces within each unit or adjacent to each unit. All units have an indoor parking space or storage space or workshop space, depending upon how it wants to be used. And the floor plans here, I'm not going to show them very big, guys. No dimensions. But they're not really small houses. They're 1,100 square feet. They're quite generous. They're 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms in some cases, and we have models that range from a single bedroom all the way up to the 3-bedroom model. So we have interior garden walls and then an outdoor community garden that's shared. The intent is that the type of person that would want to be here would be all ranges of ages, ability levels, mobility levels, and incomes. And we've actually had responses from people that are in the second home market that say, actually, this is exactly what I need. I don't need anything more. So when we think about what we share and what we have together, we think this project responds both to equity and innovative mortgage solutions, being LEED certified and potentially Passive House certified projects. They're applicable for a certain level of mortgage lending. And we are hoping to provide equitable housing right within Victor, Idaho, in a place that's competing with very expensive homes.
Hi. How do I do this? My name is Tuan from Propel Studio Architecture, and my presentation today is about ADU for aging in place. And this picture is me and my grandma walking down the alleyway in central Hanoi toward our house. So I grew up with my grandma. She stayed with my parents, so she's kind of like my life mentor in the way. We have a really strong relationship with each other. So when this multi-generational relationship between the grandparents and their children and grandchildren was brought back again when our clients asked us to design an ADU for their grandma to move in so they can spend more time with their grandkids. It's something that kind of brought back the memory of me with my grandma. So this project is actually located in southeast Woodstock area. And since this is located in the corner lot area, the zoning code requirements for the street frontage setback is actually 20 feet from southeast 46 and also southeast Ramona. So this kind of really restricts of, be able to build like a 800 square feet, 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom ADU. So the way that we actually get around this is to attach the ADU to the existing house via an open breezeway. So that would trigger the southeast Ramona setback to be only 5 feet. So that's how we actually achieve to be able to build the new ADU. And the clients really want the ADU to blend in with the existing house. So we try to incorporate, all the intriguing existing materials of the house with the cedar shake siding, deep overhang, and also exposed post and beam systems for the breezeway. And here's the X-ray view showing the structural system of the ADU with the scissor truss to save down costs, but also you can see the post and beam system below for the breezeway. Elevation showing the relationship of the ADU to the existing homes, and also seeing the scale of the ADU. So it's it's pretty close in terms of height compared to the existing house, but we try to make it more like a coherent type of design. And here's the rendering view showing the ADU and what it will look like. And also pay attention to the scooter right next to the entryway there for grandma. Here's the floor plan of the ADU. So it's pretty straightforward with the double height open great space to the south side, and grandma's bedroom on the north side, and also large ADA accessible bathroom. And we tucked the washer and dryer underneath the stairs. And then in this case, we actually don't use stack washer and dryer because of accessibility ease. And also we offset the living space a little bit, so you have a little space for the scooter parking spot. Here's a floor plan, the upper level for the grandchildren to stay in. Section showing the relationship of the double height great space against the bathroom and living space above. One important factor for any ADU for aging in place is to create a barrier-free type of access. So we achieve this by reduce the, essentially recess the stem wall for the door sill to sit in. So this creates a seamless connection between indoor and outdoor. Also, bathroom design is also important. Picking the right products. Let's say, grab bars could act as toilet paper holder. Also, creating, a seamless transition from the bathroom floor to the shower by essentially sloping the concrete or tile floor, so there's no curb, would be important. Also, the grandma is disabled on her left side, so we actually selected a vanity product with more counter space on the right side for her to use. Kitchen counter height is set at 34 inches instead of typically 36 inches. Upper cabinets always could be a big issue, but for this, we actually create more flexibility for grandma to use by proposing an automatic falcon wing upper cabinet. So we're excited to see this in action, actually. And also, touch sensor faucet makes cleaning and cooking easier. And also, ADA hardware for the closet space as well. So here's a picture of the ADU and the construction. So we are expecting construction to wrap up by mid-December, so she could move in with her grandkid before Christmas time. So thank you.
Hi, I'm Joe Mansfield, the client and builder, and this is Marty Buckenmeyer, the architect on the project. All right, let's see. All right, in 2012, after climbing up a rotting ladder onto an asbestos-covered awning, my wife and I realized this was the house for us. From the top of the awning, we could see the untapped view that this house had. Oops, automatic timing. I better speed up. Is it on time? Yeah. Let's see. All right. So, built in 1952, the house featured a dark, broken up floor plan and little connection to the outdoors. The kitchen was very small and narrow, and we spent the first year patiently scheming on how to transform this ranch burger into our forever home. We worked with Marty Buckenmeyer to open up the floor plan and to access the views to the south. The sliding door in the kitchen would open up to our future deck. We hired Don Jensen to GC the project, and our good friend George Ramos to build custom walnut cabinets. I was able to build a few details of the project, including brass and leather cabinet pulls, a 200-pound burnt wood and brass sliding door with Crown Lab hardware, and Rachel and I decided to make our own Sugibon siding, and we took the lumber out to the Oregon coast and spent several days burning it.
So this is the house at the completion of the kitchen remodel. So you can see the charred siding. The original plan was for this deck to wrap around the house and have storage below, but it was put on hold due to budget, and Joe came to me while it was on hold and said, hey, what if we put an ADU underneath the deck instead of that? So my colleague Scott Thayer and I went back to the drawing board and we came up with plans for an ADU that also transformed the whole house. This long Ipe wall that becomes railing for the guardrail also kind of stitches together the two halves of the structure and reintroduces some horizontality into this ranch-style house. Now, the slope of the site meant we could have plenty of windows, but we did have to export about 20 dump truck loads of soil to get 8-foot ceilings in the bedroom and bathroom. And we raised the ceiling height in the living room and kitchen up to 9.5 feet and put a green roof on top of that roof that serves as an amenity for the deck above. So the floor plan's relatively compact at 439 square feet, and it divides the property in half. On the right is open space for the ADU, and on the left is open space for the house above. And there's only one window on that left wall of the ADU there, and it's up high above the kitchen for privacy. So this is the main living space in the ADU. The biggest impact comes from this 16-foot wall, glass sliders that completely move out of the way and open up the living space to the outdoors. And Joe made these aluminum and cedar screens on the outside, which completely slide out of the way and either provide privacy or sunshades during the day. From outside, it's hard to even tell there's living space there, but from inside, you still can keep an eye on the street, and there's still lots of light that comes in. And that's one of the biggest transformations of this that the project has, is that it's really changed how the house and the ADU both interact with the street. There are multiple levels that you can be on this site now. And both the house and the ADU now have these indoor-outdoor spaces that live larger than their small footprint and allow both outdoor spaces also look onto the street. So on the inside, I mentioned the floor plan was very compact. We use features like a wall-hung toilet, compact kitchen appliances, a built-in banquette, things to keep things very small and tight. But that small space also allowed Joe to build some of the details himself and splurge with materials a little bit.
Yeah, so my background in product development gave me the confidence I needed to GC the build of the ADU. And I was able to focus on some specific details, including custom glass pocket doors with laser-cut acrylic pulls. I brought the burnt siding into the interior entryway, and I was able to build a couple copper walls in the bathroom and kitchen. I also used recycled material from a previous iPhone case business to tile the whole bathroom. The ADU created a really great private backyard for the main house, which is accessible from the upstairs rooftop deck. Originally, we planned on turning the space beneath the stairs into storage, but I was able to build a 2-person sauna, which has become one of my favorite parts of the project. I love the way the ADU has transformed the original yard into 4 separate, inspiring outdoor spaces, which we use year-round. Sometimes when I'm barbecuing on the deck, I think back to climbing that rotten old ladder onto the deck, and I reminisce about the journey we took to realize the full potential of this house. So we're actually celebrating the completion this Sunday from 1 to 5. And if anyone wants to see the project in person, we'll have a couple kegs. And it's located at 2111 Southeast 28th Place. So yeah, thanks again.
Hi, so I am Margaret Leite. I teach architecture here at PSU, and I'm a fellow at the Center for Public Interest Design. And we are working collaboratively right now with the Institute for Sustainable Solutions, some government entities, nonprofits, and lenders to try and package a all-in-one ADU design, financing, and concierge service package for homeowners that are finding it really tough to stay within their homes. As an architecture professor. My part of this job is to work with the students to come up with a number of pre-designed house units, and we've designed 5, and we hope to build all 5 of them in the coming year. So the 5 units are based on 2 different variables, and one of those is the client, basically, both the homeowner and the potential dweller, looking at what their needs are, and different needs for different clients. And then looking at potential construction techniques and delivery models for the units that might hopefully save money, but also solve a number of different problems that sites may have. So our first one is the salvage ADU, and this is our largest unit. It's 750 square feet, and it fits on a 5,000 square foot lot. It's great for families. It's a 2-bedroom, and it's designed so that the configuration can allow for various placements on the site. It also has 2 entrances so that you can actually have a private entrance from one direction and a public from the other in case you want to have like a play area for your kids or something like that, or you want more privacy from the home. The other nice thing about this option is that we're using this as our pilot project for a program where we're going to be working with the reuse industry here in Portland to build these out of reclaimed materials that are going to be coming out of the new deconstruction ordinance that we have. So this is going to be kind of a pilot project for systematizing the reuse of building materials. So that's exciting. Here's our turnkey ADU, and this is for folks who do not want construction in their backyard for 6 to 9 to 12 months. And this comes in 2 pieces. It's built in the factory. It's a simple structure. It's 576 square feet, so it can fit within your right up to your property lines. And it can be brought onto your site, given access, and can be finished in about a month or 2. And it's got some nice storage up above. So this is what we're calling our shell ADU. This is also 576 square feet because at that size you can put it right in the corner of your property if you want, right up against the property lines, which is great for people with small backyards. And in doing so, of course, those 2 walls on the property lines have to be firewalls, so that removes the potential for having openings on those walls. So we're looking at using polycarbonate translucent panels along with windows to provide a lot more light, given that we can't get light from those sides. And this is kind of a more modern structure, and we think it's great for folks who want to age in place, and rather than feel like they're in a kind of a dark, isolated unit in the back corner, they have a really light, bright space. This is our AD123. This is a shipping container module. This is for your urban hipster who doesn't need a whole lot of space. It can come in 1, 2, and 3 unit designs. And the cool thing about it is it comes with these simple wood screen panels that can help sort of hide the shipping containerness of the unit and make it more of a kind of a garden amenity. You can grow plants on it. They also serve as structures for attaching your toys, so you can attach your bike or your kayak, and you'll be really cool if you live in that. Our last one is the insert ADU, and this is what we're calling our instant ADU. It's a bathroom kitchen unit. It's about 8 by 6 square feet. 8 by 6. And it comes, it's divided in half horizontally. And so it can actually be brought in right through a garage door opening on a forklift. And the bottom piece comes in, the top piece comes in and set on top. And pretty much there's your ADU. And that's an interior shot of it. So we're hoping that we can get these on the ground soon and test the viability of each of these units, see if we can come in on cost, and make it part of a system for providing some housing here in Portland. Thanks.
Hi everyone, I'm Todd Ferry with PSU Center for Public Interest Design. This is Olivia Snell. And we're going to talk today quickly about something called the POD initiative. We were building really small and trying to live really large, but building really small structures, what we want to emphasize is we think that building small structures opens up opportunity to build really large social infrastructure. And we'll talk about that a little bit today. So this project came out of working with houseless individuals, and what we were hearing in response to the state of emergency was that rather than shelters, that the village model of self-governed communities with tiny houses with shared amenities was what was really being sought. And we thought as designers we had a role to play. And so we were invited, and what we knew was that we could provide physical structures, but we needed to work on changing perceptions too. So we brought architects together with houseless folks just over a year ago. This is a design charrette. And then got teams to form that agreed to build these. So here are architects in a warehouse building pods. And then 14 pods with architects and students at PSU were delivered and then resulted in a village in Kenton. It's an all-women's village. And here's what it looks like. So that was just starting from October 1st, and then this was opened up in June. We're working on more villages now. But what it led to was we had this huge coalition of people who wanted to continue doing this and seeing that it was making a real difference. Olivia and I were invited by the Portland Art Museum to continue the conversation, to create an exhibit. So we invited the architects who worked with us and others to submit new designs. In this case, these are 3 boards from architecture firms. We have Holst, Sarah Architects, and Carlton Hart to look at how plywood particularly can be of use in conjunction with the John Yawn exhibit. And then we ourselves built an exhibit, still thinking about how we can amplify the voices of houseless folks. Here's the final design, and it's a structure that was an exhibit. It was viewed by 100,000 people. It had quotes from folks, but this is going to be a library at a village in the near future. And then we held one of the pods that was built by architects, designed by architects, Sarah Architects, was built on an open day, and then opening up this conversation about what houselessness is and what Portland can do about it. So this is one aspect of how we wanted to continue the conversation, and Olivia will speak about another that's going toward our next village.
All right. So beyond the museum exhibit, another opportunity for us to expand the horizons of the pod initiative was inspired by one design that came out of the first round of pods in the fall of 2016. And the design you're looking at here was designed by SRG Partnership here in Portland. And this pod was really interesting to us because of the use of the gable truss. And you can see it makes up both the roof and the walls of this pod. So here at PSU, we also have a really unique design studio in the spring. It's the Pickathon Diversion Design Build Studio. Every year we design and build a stage for this festival in Happy Valley. And inspired by the truss from the SRG pod, we decided to use that truss as the element for the stage this year. And what's really special about the project is that after the festival ends, all of the materials to build the stage get donated back to the construction industry. But this year we were really maximizing that social impact beyond the reuse, because we knew these trusses were going to build more sleeping pods for another village here in Clackamas County. And because we knew what the reuse purpose was, we also decided to use that as the driving concept in the design. So thinking of sleeping pods as sanctuaries for people who would otherwise not have homes, we decided to also create these sanctuary spaces even behind the stage at Pickathon to kind of provide this gathering space outside of the festival for people to sit and listen to music and talk with each other. We also decided to build a skeleton of that SRG pod and have it on display at the festival to tell people more about what these trusses were going to be reused as when the festival was over. So it was a way to engage even a broader public. And now we are in the process of completing these sleeping pods, using those trusses from the festival. And it's a way to, even though we're building such small structures, it's a way to really engage a larger public and start to tackle this really large social problem of homelessness here in Portland and beyond. Thank you.